Gang, gang, gang. Baby, pop the top and let it spread. As we're listening to Past the Grave. Hey. We're going fishing for your bitch today. We're drunk in Houston, eh? Houston, baby. And we go ahead and lick and we'll get rich today. Rich, bitch.
Gravy gang! What is going on, everybody? Happy Gravy Day. It's Past the Gravy, episode number 614. And if you're watching us, you already probably realize it. But if you're not, it's just Pat and I. And we're doing it on Zoom again. Because
Robert has abandoned us.
When Robert's not here, we don't trust ourselves with the camera. And really, Robert doesn't trust us with the camera mostly. And yeah, we'd probably break it. So we do it via Zoom. And then we'll be back in person again next week. So it'll be better quality. But just bear with us. We're going to have fun. We got a long, fun episode. We're going to talk horse racing. We're going to take a break from mock draft week because Robert's not here. We're going to wrap that up next week. We'll give you a recap of everything. We're going to try and talk about gorillas, fighting gorillas, and maybe give you a couple of draft grades. That's what we do on Past the Gravy. That's what we do here. But before that, I've gotten in the habit of saying, if this flag offends you, I'll help you pack. And it's kind of taken over my life, but it's not. It can't ever be a flag. Can't ever be a flag. Like I was saying it at I was doing a crawfish cook-off this weekend. I hung out with some gravy gangers there, but like I kept being like, if this flag offends you, I'll help you pack. And it was like me just pointing at like crawfish.
I want to hang out at a pizza place now and just wait for someone to order pineapple and then wait for somebody else to comment on that. That's perfect time to pull it out.
Yeah, just
you like pineapple on pizza? This flag offends you. I'll help you pack.
But do it for food. Do it for music. Do it for anything. If this flag offends you, well, it's not a flag.
Just whenever your children don't want to eat their vegetables.
Look, if these flags offend you, I'll help you pack. All right, liberal.
That's all. That's a good thing too. Call your kids liberal like that. They get real offended. Children don't like that.
They won't know what it means. But then when they get older, they're like, my dad called me that when he was mad. So
and there was a real negative inflection on it. It seems like a no word.
Look, Pat. If this flag offends you, I'll help you pack, pal. All right, so just try that out. It's fun, and people kind of look at you weird, but it's not really a flag.
But that's a beautiful thing about that saying. If they say something like that's stupid, it doesn't make sense, you can say it again right then.
Look, if it offends you, I'll help you pack, pal.
I hope you got your bags ready, buddy.
Do you want a business idea I had?
Always.
Okay.
Well, not always, but yes.
Well, this might not be my best one, but it's a bowling alley just called Irritable Bowl Syndrome.
I'm in.
Right?
That's it. If it's just a regular bowling alley,
just a regular bowling alley, that's just the name.
With a pun name, I'm in. I was gonna say, if you've got more weird shit, I'm down to hear it. But I'm always down for puns. I will be the last person on this planet laughing at puns, and I will be doing it until the day I die.
I still think puns are very funny. I think puns are very funny. I'm a dad now too, so like that makes me think it's funnier. I feel like your liking of puns goes up the more you're a dad. At least that's what I was told.
I was going to say, that could be a problem for me if I get to become a dad. What level am I going to hit? Like, I think I'm straight up. It'll just be only jorts, New Balance shoes, high white socks, a button-up T-shirt tucked into the, like, it'll be bad.
But like in a good way bad.
Oh, yeah. I'll look like the grown-up version of the guy from Pretty Fly from a White Guy.
I want to just verbal meme though with Irritable Bowl Syndrome. Just be like, yeah, I got IBS, and then it's just the logo. We'll make a logo. Robert, while you're editing this, put it on a shirt. Like print the shirt. Irritable Bowl Syndrome. Like, yeah, I got IBS. I love bowling.
Dude, that's just the shirt right there. It says IBS, eye bowl strikes.
No, it'd be funny if it just said, yeah, I've got IBS. And then it said the IBS, I is I, B is love, and S is bowling. So it doesn't really add up.
It's a fat guy taking a shit. It's just bowling balls.
It's just an angry bowling ball.
I love
Because it's already fat.
An angry bowling ball trying to shit out smaller bowling balls.
Shitting out pins.
Oh, see, there we go.
There we go. And we could just call it IBS. Like, what? You bowl at IBS? Look, buddy, if that flag offends you, I'll help you pack.
I bet some shitty bowling alley somewhere in the Midwest has one of those weird animations where it is the bowling ball shitting out pins and it says IBS.
I do like that. It's like Strike, and it's just 9/11 footage, but with bowling balls and pins, and you're like, what?
They're the most inappropriate things ever,
Why?
and I love them so much.
Why is that a thing? I don't know. But we kept it. We fucking kept it.
You got a ball suicide bombing the pins, like, whoa!
Hey, too soon.
It's a spare and it's aborted.
It's a bowling ball, but it looks like the Pope because it's got the pin on its head like a little hat, and it just dies.
And then it falls down.
What? Did you guys just get this one? This one seems very recent.
God, I should join a bowling league. I'm built for bowling.
You are built for bowling. You look like you would be a bowler. Like if you're like, I'll be on your team, people would be like, get that guy. That guy knows how to bowl. And then you'd suck, and they'd be like, why did he join our team?
No, I just got to get my form back, dude. I was real good in college. I took bowling as a class in college.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was fucking sick.
Like, did you have to bowl a certain score?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, basically, you're just in there bowling.
That's pretty awesome.
And like, yeah, the test was like you had to learn how to keep a bowling score sheet, which I know how to do now, so that's pretty cool. But
because that never makes sense to me. I'm always like the electronic thing. Sure.
If next time we're together, I'll explain it to you. I'm not going to do it on here.
Right.
That would be ridiculous.
It'd be boring. People would not care.
But yeah, no, last time I went bowling, though, I tried to use my old, like, nice form. The next day, my left hip was so fucking sore. Because,
I bet.
The bowling follow through, that's not a position my body normally finds itself in. So that's a muscle that hasn't been worked out in years.
You'd be a little rusty.
Yeah. And when you're fat, it's just even worse.
When I was of age to drink, like you had that weird phase where like you're a year older than your friends or whatever, like you all turn 21 at different times. So like some of you can drink and some of you can't. You're like, but I want to do things where I'm drinking, but these guys can't go to a bar. We figured it out one summer in college where it was just like go to the bowling alley because we could just get pitchers of beer and everybody can kind of drink from that. And the bowling alley didn't give a shit because it was a shitty bowling alley. And then when they did call people out, people would just bring in liquor and get like a Coke and shit and mix it with that. So it was solid strategy. And we would put the guardrails up and we would just throw multiple, like we would do dumb shit and just like you could play like bowl for the afternoon. And we would just like, all right, it's $9 a person to bowl for the whole afternoon. Let's do that. And we'd get like 3 hours of the lane or whatever. And we would just like have the rails up and then we would throw multiple balls down the lane. And one time I bowled a 300 because I did it that way. And they like were like, oh, congratulations. And the guy like looked at my other friend throwing 2 balls down the lane at the same time. I was like, oh, never mind.
You're a fucking piece of shit.
Never mind. I was like, 300 to 300, buddy. You didn't say I couldn't cheat.
That's true. I mean, technically, see, here's the thing. Once I teach you how to keep your scorecard, you can bowl a 300 whenever you want. It's whatever you mark down.
It's just like golf.
Yeah. And honestly, you should probably figure out or already know how to mark a 300. It's just
X, 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 X.
But if you ever want to like fake it and be like, I rolled a 296, I can teach you how to flip those other four.
That's
four
probably,
bits.
I like that idea. Yeah, like don't make the easiest way to cheat the easiest way. Like if you don't understand a card, you're just like, done. Right?
I've had an X and 3 dashes over my last 3 frames. Which, by the way, how the fuck did it get the name frame?
I don't know either. Well, frame and the little square, is that like a frame? I don't know.
I don't know. We should have a professional bowler on.
My cousin bowled a 300 not too long ago. He bowls every week. And I was like, fuck yeah. Shout out Ryan.
I'm fucking jealous of that.
He got a ring. He got a 300 ring. I was like, that's badass.
Like from the bowling alley, or he made it himself?
He got it from the bowling alley.
That's gotta be the cheapest fuck. It's like a Cracker Jack ring that they just
Well,
get
they give you
a
the option
hot
to
thing.
order it, and he did. And I was like, I would fucking order one too. I'd order
Oh.
two. I'd have a pinky one, and then I'd have just a regular one.
Oh, a pinky
A
300 ring?
pinky bowling ring? Abso-fucking-lutely, buddy.
Like, not only am I a man using a pinky ring, it's for my bowling
I want to
explains.
start getting like really like fancy, like they look like I won something, but they don't really like. Not that bowling at 300 is not an awesome thing, but like that level of like caught a big fish, so I got a ring to commemorate it. Like
Won a
you got
croquet championship.
caught an 8 pound bass. And like, so you just you get a ring for it? Yeah, the pond was handing them out.
I won a dreidel competition at summer camp and got a ring for it.
Fantasy football ring. I know like some of them do that, but like you actually wear it.
Which reminds me, I need to text my fucking buddy and be like, when am I getting my trophy, bitch?
Yeah, if you don't live together, or, like live in the same area, it's tough to like
We do.
you just mail it. You can just mail it.
No, it's got, dude, you can't mail me my trophy. I need you to hand it over in person so that I can mock you for not being as good as me.
Yeah, I do not know where our fantasy football trophy is. We did do the like hand it off or mail it, but then people moved, and then it's just like somebody's just got a trophy now.
Well, we do. Whoever won it the previous year has to engrave the next guy's name on it.
That's a good
So,
way to do it.
yeah, but the problem with that is, aside from like one dude in our group who's a real adult, everyone else will just put off getting that engraving done for until the next season, which is about what's about to happen.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. Kind of like if you lose the pick 'em bet.
I don't know what you're talking about. That one.
Hey, if we're gonna watch the Derby this weekend, maybe we just get a tattoo.
What, can we get someone to come to your house and do the tattoos?
That's probably more expensive.
Probably, but like, what if it's not?
I
If it's not, then it's
I
going to be a
think
really
it
shitty
is.
tattoo
Yeah,
that has syphilis.
and I don't want that. I'm not a big fan of getting syphilis.
But yeah, you don't hate it. You're just not a big fan.
Just not a big fan of it, you know. Like I get it happens,
Hey,
but I'm
everyone
not a
gets
fan
itchy.
of it. Right, right.
Except I don't think that's an itchy. I don't know. Either way,
I think that might be chlamydia.
I think syphilis is more burning.
I know Hitler had syphilis.
That got fucked.
Over his country.
And not just his country, quite a few other
A
ones
lot
as
of other
well.
ones as well, yeah. And a lot of people. All
Yes,
right.
Italy got off too easy for World War II.
Yeah. Mussolini.
World War II, New Jersey. Italians have had it real fucking easy.
Hey. New Jersey gave us the Sopranos. It's like
And
they get a pass. That's all you need. The New York Giants.
the what Giants?
New York Giants. They just play in Jersey. A lot of real estate problems there.
Also, I'm pretty sure Springsteen's from Jersey, so
Yeah, and Springsteen, the boss. Last thing I had after irritable bowel syndrome was I've been listening to jazz recently. It all started with Severance. They have a scene where somebody listens to Defiant Jazz, and I was like, I thought all jazz is supposed to be defiant because you're breaking rules with jazz, right?
that is a good point.
But I was just like, there was one song that they played, and I was like, what is the song from Severance? So I looked it up. And so this has been, I watched Severance like a month or two. But my new habit at this new place we live is like if I'm home on Saturday or Sunday, like I'll hit I'll get a little high going. And then I take the dog out for a walk and we do a mile around this little track. And I listen to jazz because like there's no words in it and it kind of clears my head. So like, oh, a little hungover from Saturday or whatever, Sunday morning, a little get a little high and then go walk the dog, listen to some jazz. And it rocks. And what I also realized the other day when I was doing it was that jazz just has the coolest fucking names of all the songs. Because if you don't have words in your song, you can name it literally anything.
I mean, it's true. Also, if you're Blink-182, most of their songs have absolutely nothing to do with what the song is about.
Yeah, true. It's true. You can do it with any song, but like jazz specifically, like Flight of the Bumblebee was
Well, hold
that
on.
was a
I feel
band
like that,
song,
but
but
that
like
name fits. That name
right,
fits the song.
But it could have also been absolutely anything else. They're like, "Da, da, 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 da," and you're like, oh, because it does kind of, I guess
But
that
it
does
sounds like it's
sound like a
but
B. But
like
also it
that
could be anything.
Jessica by the Allman Brothers. That could have been named anything. Why the fuck is it Jessica?
True. So it
Or
does work for
was it
all songs.
Wizards in Winter by the Electric Light Orchestra, the Christmas
Yeah.
one. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, all of them. They mean absolutely nothing.
But that again doesn't
But
have
that's what's
any,
great though.
that doesn't have any music or any words in it, does it?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, like all lyricless songs can.
You just do, yeah, explosions in the sky. They just like the Friday Night Lights band.
Oh yeah,
I saw them live one time and they fucking kicked ass, dude. They're just doing, they're like, fucking, yeah, play that guitar. What's up next? More guitar shit. When do they sing? They don't. They don't sing at all. It's just dudes just riffing on the guitar. They rock. That's the
that's what
Friday Night Lights theme.
the Grateful Dead. I feel like could have no lyrics to their music, and it would be the same thing.
Kinda.
Like,
Yeah.
but that's the Grateful Dead. I mean, they are a jam band that happens to have words.
But jazz lyrics, like jazz not having words in any song really that doesn't have words can just name itself anything. I just wanted to read some I just wanted to read some jazz songs that I wrote down. And this is just from like a jazz playlist. This isn't like I didn't really like look for too many. I just scrolled through it. I was like, these are cool names. Shaky Jake. Great name.
That sounds like that would be the musician.
No, it's Joe McPhee. Shaky Jake by Joe McPhee. Slaps. The Cat by Jimmy Smith. Pool of Love.
You talking about cum?
That's Les Baxter. No, but it could be. And you just like make everything like a loose cum reference, and you're like, no, it's jazz. It's just how jazz is, baby.
Love all over you.
That's jazz. Like Ron Swanson does, or what was Duke Silver?
Wait for the towel.
Wait and wait for my jazz to wash all over you.
Open up and accept this jazz.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
Jazz machine.
Spooky. There was just one called Spooky. That wasn't a spooky song either. It wasn't even a spooky song. Cash Tador. Poo by the Oneness of Juju. Great. Poo 2.
Poo
Pootoo.
How the fuck do you settle on that name?
I don't know, but the band was Oneness of Juju, and I was like, fuck yeah. Let's go.
I got a poo too. Hey, that's the name of our next song.
Experiment in Terror by Henry Mancini. It's like,
Was that song? Was it scary?
no, it's jazz. It's like, hey, what if we just yeah, what are we calling that one? Experiments in Terror. All right. I don't know what else you'd call it.
That's weird. I had a smile on my face the whole time we were making that.
That's the terrifying part. You just spin it whichever way you want. Kava Khan has a song called Palace of the Tiger Woman. Again, no words. So you have no idea about the Tiger Woman or the palace or any of that. I have so many questions.
There better at least be a mandolin in that song.
I don't believe there was.
Oh, son of a bitch.
The two-headed free up. I don't know what a free up is, but Ronnie Foster wrote about that. Blue Mitchell wrote a song called High Heel Sneakers. It's just a funny name.
There's short kings out there.
It might be. Ben Lamar Gay wrote a song called Aunt Lola and the Quail.
That's a phenomenal name.
Great name.
I don't even like that's one of those ones where it's such a good name. You could name any song that and it would be awesome.
You could just, it's like jazz is just you pick a song, you pick a sentence out of a book. And you like pick a random sentence, you're like, that is the name of this song. And that's how it goes. And then one that I figured you'd like is Mama You Can Bet by G.O.T. and Georgia Ann Molden. So that rocks. I think I lost you for a second there. Pat. All right, well, we don't have Pat there. Oops. Let me see if he can reconnect while we're doing that.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, you froze on me.
Yeah, that was strange. Showing full bars.
Well, I was telling you there was one that was called Mama You Can Bet by Jyoti and Georgia Ann Molden, and I was like, that one rocks. But pretty much, like I said before you cut out, like you just open any random book and pick a sentence, and that's the name of a jazz song.
I mean, that's the beauty of jazz, dude. It's completely free. You can do whatever you want.
My other question I had really about jazz was like when you record a studio album, you go in there and you're like, all right, well, we worked on the riffs. You come in with the chorus here. You do this here. Isn't jazz supposed to just be spontaneous?
Live jazz.
Live jazz is spontaneous.
Yeah.
Because that was my thought. I was like, you go in the studio, do you have any clue what you do? Like, you're like, I brought a saxophone. Do I play the saxophone? Like, we don't need the sax. We don't need the sax for this one.
I swear to God, if I go to a live jazz club and I see one piece of sheet music, I'll throw a fit.
I've never been to a jazz club, but now I kind of want to go.
I think this is a sham.
And also when I'm walking around a little stoned and I'm listening to that jazz, I feel like I'm superior. I'm like, look at all these simpletons. I am listening to classy music like jazz.
I feel like you think you probably are walking normal, but in reality, you're probably sitting going, like your hands are flying everywhere, being all crazy. And you probably look like an insane person.
We did talk about we've done it before about the sexiest instruments, and like jazz has all of them.
Yeah.
Starts with a little piano part right there, get a little cool drums going, saxophone comes in, trumpets sometimes. You're like, hell yeah.
Trumpet can be real sexy.
So yeah, shout out to jazz music, dude. Try it out sometime. You gotta be in the mood for it. When you're all stressed out, turn on a little jazz, and you're like, ha ha! I feel defiant.
Doesn't make me feel defiant. Jazz, I would say more, it makes me feel groovy. Which is like so uncool that it almost can't fit with jazz, but that's how it makes me feel.
What did you bring in for Precome segment?
I just I saw a story. I think it came out this morning or yesterday that just it makes it horrifying, the concept of sometimes having kids. Not because kids are bad. Because kids are awesome. They're amazing. But every once in a while, you have a kid that grows up to be a shithead and ends up costing you lots of money. Case in point, the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons, before the draft, he was given a list of a bunch of the phone numbers for all the players. So when it's time to call them, you have it. I guess he left it out and his son found it. And the story, it happened, his son's friend prank called Shedeur Sanders during the draft, making him think he was being drafted when he wasn't. And you might go, that's really dumb and it's mean, but kids are stupid. I say kid, he's fucking 21.
Right, but
and don't get me wrong, I did dumb shit in college too.
Yeah, same.
I feel like I would know, hey, maybe I shouldn't steal this from my father and get it to do a joke. And if I'm gonna do that, maybe I don't let my friends film it with me on camera.
That was the dumbest part to me, because it's like there's no way it gets out if it was someone else's phone number besides yours if you don't get on fucking camera like a loser.
And it's not even like it's just some kid whose dad, is assistant equipment manager. Your dad's the defensive coordinator. He was the head coach of the New York Jets last year.
Interim head coach.
Interim, still head coach. Put some respect on it. You got to earn that title by other people being bad at their job, but still earn it.
Yeah.
But so because of that, and his son being a shithead and a dumbass, he cost the team $250,000 in loss of draft picks.
They lost the draft pick? I thought it was just the money. And then his dad got $100,000 fine.
No, sorry. I thought it said draft picks. It was over draft prank. I finished reading the keyword. But still, you gotta, being his dad.
$250,000 to an NFL franchise, though, is nothing. Like they'll
Nothing,
make
but
that
still,
in a day.
imagine having to go to your boss and be like, "Yeah, sorry about the 250." Like it means nothing, but it's still like rich guys don't like giving up any money. Like, sorry,
Right.
my son was such a fucking dickhead that he
Yeah.
cost you $250,000.
But what's also funny is that he wasn't the only person that got prank phone called. Shador wasn't. The Giants pick Abdul Carter got prank called right before he got taken. They told him he was going to the Jags, and then there was a Buffalo Bills guy that got prank called like 6 times. They said, but
There was one
because
too
it
where the
wasn't
guy got
Shador,
drafted. The guy got drafted, and then they prank called him to say he got traded.
yeah, I saw that too. But because it wasn't Shador, you'll get the spotlight because Shador also had 107 cameras around him at all times during the whole process. Again, it's fucked up to do that.
Kind of funny, also. More fucked up.
I laughed initially and I was like, no, that's fucked up. The way to spin it is that Shador Sanders is probably a millionaire right now. He had a Louis Vuitton chest just full of cash. Not saying that justifies it. It doesn't. You shouldn't do that to people. But I don't really care. Like that's like I don't really care about Abdul Carter getting prank called. I don't really care. It's a prank phone call.
Yeah, I mean, also like 23-year-old me would have been like, "This is hilarious." Anybody saying it's not is kind of a pussy. This is part of being in my mid-30s now. I'm like,
It was mean.
that probably sucked really bad.
It was mean spirited, but I don't know. Shit happens, and it's weird that like the NFL to like frown upon that when you gave Ray Rice a 4-game suspension for beating the shit out of his wife and dragging her into an elevator and trying to cover it up. Like that's weird. When you let like when Ray Lewis stabbed someone to death and then didn't get a
Allegedly.
suspension at all. It was hmm, eh, eh,
Likely.
eh. Was the Chiefs running back that was then not the Chiefs running back and then was the Chiefs running back last season?
Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt. He like kicked the shit out of a lady.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill also, yeah. Like the NFL's not really like their record on like looking at characters, like character flaws, does it really like it's weird that like, you know what? No place for prank phone calls though. If you hit your wife, we're gonna give you 4 games. If you fucking prank phone call, that's the fucking line we draw.
I mean, this was the draft for just overreactions to minor shit.
Literally.
Like there was that, and then Mel Kiper absolutely losing his mind on the broadcast because people wouldn't draft Shador.
We'll get to the draft, I guess, a little bit more, but yeah, it was wild.
I love the draft. I love the draft. I'm so happy.
I hate it, but I love it at the same time.
I love it.
Because it's like you just spin zone it, everything that happens, like that's gonna work out great for my team. Like that's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you get the exciting picks up there at the top, but then you also have to be like, oh yeah, that's why we're here.
But now we don't have to be there next year because we'll be good. But we won't be because I looked at our schedule. It's not gonna be great.
And also, Rusty's your starting quarterback.
Don't worry about that. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll get into the draft a little bit. What else did you have for Precome segment?
I mean, just that, just kids
Just
being
that,
absolute
yeah.
fucking morons.
Just don't fucking get on video, dude.
Yeah, like at 16, I'd be like, okay, you're an idiot. 21, you should know better. This kid's probably in business school at a very good fucking college. And he's not smart enough to realize, hey, let's not video this.
Do you think his dad beat his ass?
I hope so. His dad could definitely beat his ass.
Well, yeah.
His dad's a big, scary motherfucker.
Big dude.
I hope it was one of those ones where like his dad tells him like come home this weekend, and he gets home and like he's walking up the driveway and walks in the garage and the garage door just closes behind him, and his dad just walks out with 2 sets of boxing gloves and he's like, all right, this is what's happening next.
Like when Hank discovered Walter White and he was Heisenberg, and then he fucking you didn't watch Breaking Bad, did you?
Spoilers, thanks.
Fuck. Got in the
No,
garage.
I
That's
know.
when he fought him.
I thought you were going to say when Hank Hill put on boxing gloves with Bobby. I was like, yeah, but less nut punching.
Less nut punching for sure. All right. Well, that was our Precome segment. Let's move on to the Comeback Kids segment where we tell you what's back this week in the news according to us.
It's the Comeback Kid. The Comeback Kid of the week. The Comeback Kid of the week. Bitch.
Our first comeback kid this week is gorillas. Are you about that shit, Pat?
I mean, if there's one person on here that is very famously pro gorilla on this podcast, it's you.
It's me.
But
R.I.P. Harambe.
but I think tides are turning.
I mean, this weekend, it's one of those things where like people shit on the internet and like Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it, all the time. They're like, I mean, this is such a fucking garbage app. Why do people even use that? I'm like, because funny stuff happens on it, and you can talk about the draft in real time, and you can watch sports games with people and bitch about Jalen Green having an off night and how much of a fucking bitch ass motherfucker Draymond Green is, and how he should be ejected, and then not feel like you're alone. But then sometimes, then something like this weekend happens where you're like, fuck yeah, that's the internet. That's what the internet's for. And somebody had posted, not word for word, I'm paraphrasing because I can't use one of the words they use, was how many dudes, if you had 100 dudes, could they take down one silverback gorilla? And that was the embrace debate that just the internet was torn on all of that.
I don't see how the internet's torn at all on this.
They weren't torn. Well, some people were like, "There's no fucking way," and then like I believe the thing was like, "You got to be about that shit. You got to be about that action." Was the original tweet. And it was like 100 dudes could absolutely take down a silverback gorilla, but if you got to be about that action, and I, having 3 days now to think about it, agree. I agree. 100 versus 1 in just about anything is wild. Like that's wild odds. I'm not saying a silverback gorilla is not gonna fuck some shit up because a silverback gorilla, like people will die. People will not make it out alive. And you gotta just know that's the case. But like the tweet said, you gotta be about that action. You gotta be like, all right, we charge it. Like this is Sparta or whatever. Was it 300? That was what they did? Yeah, you gotta do that. Like we know we might not come out of this alive, but we gotta fucking go. It's like 300 divided by 3 against the gorilla instead of Xerxes.
I've only heard one argument for why 100 men would beat one. Because absolutely you wouldn't. Absolutely. I don't care how bad you say about that. People forget how much stronger gorillas are than. Do you know how we know how strong gorillas are? Have you learned that?
We watched them.
No, we actually have zero metrics to understand how strong gorillas are. You know, gorillas like pretty regularly escape from zoos around the world because we don't know how tall to make their enclosures because we'll make them like 20, 30 feet. They find a fucking way out. We have no metrics on this planet to describe how strong they are. I don't care how down you go. I don't care if you have 100 fucking Nick and Nate Diaz's who are fucked in the head and will never stop in a fight. People are like, oh, dude, you rush them and then you just grab limbs. There's not a man on this planet that can hold down a gorilla arm. There's not 5 men on this planet that can hold down a gorilla arm. There's someone, the gorilla could literally just grab everything, snap. The thing people keep forgetting too, gorillas have fangs. People don't think about them as having, they have teeth that are made for ripping flesh from bone. And not only that, as we attack, the gorilla's faster. It's going to circle to the outside. A gorilla, especially a gorilla that has 100 people trying to kill it, gorilla's going to win. Gorilla's going to win. I don't care how down you are. You see 9 faces get eaten.
Most of the people get killed. The majority of dudes get killed. But you got to go the Star Wars method with the AT-ATs, and you just got to trip it up. You got to get it on the ground, and you got to work on your ground and pound. He's still going to fuck up some of you, but like it's just got to be, you got to move as a unit. You got to move as a unit. Like
only like 8 guys can get at him at once.
No, you gotta get like 6, 7, 8 guys on each limb at the same time, and then you gotta have somebody just pull on the other side so he doesn't know who to go for. He's gonna be confused. You could have a couple lines of defense in that, and then he's gonna get gassed. He's gonna get gassed at a certain point in time. I think 100 men definitely could take down a silverback gorilla. I think any less than 100, no.
The only way it's gonna work, the only argument I've heard, someone's gonna suck off the gorilla. It's the only way you're going to stop him is you start blowing him and then he's just too confused to fight back. Then you can overwhelm him. But somebody's going to put that gorilla dick in their mouth.
Put Kanye.
Kanye could help you take down If somebody sucks off the gorilla, I think you got a shot. Other than that, no way. Gorilla's ripping people to shreds. You got like people like you don't understand. The gorilla can grab you and then just rip the flesh off of your arm. You're done. I don't care how down you are. When you can see the bone, both bones of your forearm because the skin has been peeled back over your hand, you're done.
Yeah, but you got to just be about that shit, dude.
Gorilla might grab poop in its hand, fling some, hit you in the eye. You're incapacitated.
You could be.
Nobody can fight with poop eye.
You have pink eye from poop eye.
You can fight with pink eye. You can't fight with poop eye.
Poop eye leads to pink eye, though.
It does, but it's treatable. Can't treat poop eye. You got poop in your eye. There's no treatment.
Yeah, nobody wants to be that guy. I think we have to disagree on this one because I think it'll happen. And then really, like, you just got to make sure that you're fighting in the Cincinnati Zoo because they'll come out and they'll take care of them. That's what the Cincinnati Zoo does. They just shoot gorillas. And you're like, oh, never mind.
Also, I would like to point out, I'm 100% not about it. I would not be one of the guys.
You would, yeah. Don't sign up unless you're about it.
And I'm not. Also, see, here's the thing. I think you could find 100 guys in this world that if you let them attack a gorilla, they would win.
If you picked like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, throw him in there.
If you had your pick of the litter. If you just took randomly from the pool of guys that say that they could do it, the gorilla's winning. Because most guys that think they could are total bitches and definitely could not.
I agree with that.
Like I probably know.
I
probably know 10 to 15 guys that would think they could do it. 100, all of them would die. If they were the last 15 to attack, they would die.
Yeah, I wouldn't be in the group to do it, but I think that there is groups that could do it. Like just get the NFL players. They could do it. Bunch of linemen.
You'd have to take that new 430-pound defensive tackle and hope he just falls on the gorilla.
Absolutely, yeah. Haloti Nata. Throw him out there.
I did forget about sumo wrestlers.
Sumo wrestlers would fuck some shit. I have a couple of those guys in there.
They wanted they couldn't really kill the gorilla, but they'd be able to keep it off of them.
Yeah, they play defense while the other guys try and do everything.
They just 4 of them get around the gorilla and all pass block it until it gets frustrated and has a heart attack.
Sometimes if there's been an Astros game on, I think it's Space City Sports Network or whatever is what the Astros are on. If the person that was doing work that night before had it on in the studio I work in, it'll be on that network still. And they like 4 a.m. run sumo wrestling replays sometimes, and it's awesome.
That should be a sport that needs to crack American culture.
I don't know too much of the rules except just push the person out of the circle.
Push them out of the circle.
That's what it seems like. But it's
and you can like grab onto the other guy's diaper and like do a wedgie.
Like, why was that what they wore? They're like, you could wear pants.
Tradition. There was no pants back then.
I mean, now there is.
Also, way funnier that big fat guy in
I guess
diaper.
So. Like football used to have no helmets, and then we had leather helmets. Now you have actual helmets. Like
I don't want to do amateur boxing. Like, I don't really feel like getting hit in the face at this point in my life. But if bars had amateur sumo, you better believe your boy would be in there.
They do have amateur sumo. It's just the like office sumo where it's like
no. I'm talking like clear out the volleyball court at your bar one night, put a circle in the sand, hand me a giant diaper, and let me and other fat guys try and push each other around in the sand.
They're pretty sick.
That'd be awesome.
You get a free bar tab.
Dude. And it's sumo.
That's all you'd need.
Like, I'm not going to get hurt. Worst case scenario, a dude pushes me out of there. I guess I could fall backwards and hit my head. Not going to happen. Natural athlete. I think it would just be really funny to be like, yeah, you're stronger than me. I'm fatter than you, though. Can't move. I'm stoic like rock.
But yeah, the gorillas make a comeback this week. That was a fun debate online. And then people like simmed like they got AI to do a bunch of shit and show like make it seem like this is how this would go. And I was all about that. That was tight. I would not be about that action in real life, but like I think there's 100 people that would be down and that it would work.
We need Ultimate Warrior to make a comeback, that TV show, and they can mock this up for us.
Fuck yeah, dude. I think like was Mythbusters. It's just online embrace debates that they have to do now. They're like, come on, fucking, are you serious? How are we gonna mimic 100 people? Well, I don't know.
I just want to
Get a
see.
silverback gorilla, Jamie.
I just want to see Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz in there. Like, man, I fuck up that gorilla. Tested all of his punch strength and shit.
If it has like the UFC press conference, it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck that bitch up, and then the gorilla's like, like, I
Dana
don't
White's like,
understand anything
listen,
he said.
listen, I think they're morons for taking this fight. But you know, these guys are ultimate competitors. They want to find out if they're better than the gorilla.
It is the Ultimate Fighting Championship. We're going to ultimately fight it out for a championship.
Or the gorilla.
It's what everybody wants. It's what the people want. Give the people what they want. What else do we have for pre-com? We had draft grades. They're back. I don't know if you saw. I did first round draft grades. I forgot to do the rest of the draft grades. But you know what? Packers. I'll give them an A. Give them an A.
Oh yeah, now you are. Now that we're face to face virtually.
Well, no, the bit, and I don't know if you guys understand it's a bit, is that draft grades don't mean anything. So you just say whatever your team is got an A plus. Everybody in your division got an F. And then people that like, I just tried to make it look random. But then
I understand that draft grades mean nothing. But you understand as well as I do that even though they mean nothing, you feel good when you see an A, don't you?
yeah, but a B is pretty good.
Yeah, but also you're
I
my
think
friend and you made the draft grades. You should have given me an A.
I was really just focused on the NFC East. And
I
then
mean,
it worked because people were biting. Like, oh, well, how did Baltimore get a B minus? Baltimore definitely had an A. And I'm like, dude, look, I know ball. I'm the one that grinding the tape. Not at all. And I know these things. And then you just tell everybody that you know ball more than them, and then they either leave you alone or they argue back with you, and I just stop responding.
it is bullshit that every single year the entire league lets just absolutely sick defensemen fall to the Ravens in the mid to late 20s.
This guy had some character issues.
Yeah, but is he not probably the most talented safety in the entire class?
Well, again, though,
Character issues, they make you slide later in the first round. They don't make you slide out.
at least he didn't. Like, he may have absolutely just been the worst person ever to women, but at least he didn't prank phone call anybody.
I mean, we don't know that. You got to wait for the full investigations to come out.
Spin zone. He may or may not have done terrible things to women, but if he prank phone called him, actually, he should be out of the league. What if that's the new thing? Like the league's just cracking down on like you're like, fuck, Marcus Golden prank phone called somebody. They're gonna kick him out of the league now. 1 year suspension. You're like, what the fuck, Goodell?
Don't even joke about that, man. Don't even joke about that.
Seems like a guy that might prank phone call. But yeah, the Giants won the draft pretty much. So that's cool. It's cool to be back. Giants are so back.
Yeah, that's what really hurt me the most about it, though, is as soon as Jackson Dart was drafted, I was texting you, ooh, throwing darts, let's go, trying to hype you up, and then you give my team a B. It felt like you stabbed me in the back.
I didn't mean it that way, buddy.
Like I said, throwing darts, you couldn't send me one. Oh, golden hour, you fucking asshole, or
I
golden
didn't
era.
think about. Well, to be fair, I was asleep by that time.
Fair enough.
I didn't even see the Jackson Dart play or the Jackson Dart trade until the next morning when I woke up. I was like, Abdul Carter's tight. That's the draft.
You don't love ball.
I do love ball. That wasn't ball though. That was just picking guys that play ball.
I don't like your attitude right now about the draft. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
I said I love the draft, but like the draft is also the easiest thing to tune out of and be like, I'm just going to check my phone every now and then and see where we're at. Cam Scatterbo, when we got him, I fucking lost my mind.
I was so mad at that because did you get him in the third round or the fourth round? Fourth. That's what I thought. I said to my brother before the draft, I was like, I want Cam Scatterbo and the Packers so bad. He's like, well, we don't really need him. I'm like, I don't care. For the 4 plays a game that Josh Jacobs comes out of the game, I want Cam Scatterbo to be the guy.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, now this guy's going to run you over like face first.
A literal scat back. It's not really a scat back.
And my brother's like, yeah, I don't think he's going to be there even into the third round. Sure enough, he goes to the fourth. I was like, man, fuck you, Andrew.
It was pretty great.
Really,
the draft is fun if you like look ahead at people. You're like, I know some of these names. The Giants could get that guy. That's really cool. And I tweeted out, I was like, yo, if the Giant, I would be a very happy boy if the Giants draft Cam Scatterbo. And then Giants drafted Cam Scatterbo, and I was a very happy boy.
Not only that, but the Cowboys drafted Blue, he's bust. So don't even worry about that. He's bust.
Also, as funny as the Jaguars drafted a guy, his last name was Tootin, right before Scatterbo. He was also a running back, and I was like, yeah, I'd rather have Scatterbo than Tootin.
You got Tootin and Scat.
And then somebody can make a shirt for Robert. Just make this for Jaguars fans. It says, I love Tootin.
Ooh.
And then like everybody like, I bet you do. But also make it say Putin, and then it switches to Tootin, and then you're like, oh fuck.
Not only do you take the player I want, you take the player with the funniest name.
Scatterbo. Who practices tackling on telephone poles? Psycho. Jackson Dart, no downside. No downside at all, though. Like, what's like, how could that not work out?
Yeah, I mean, no downside. Well, don't watch the Florida tape, but no downside.
No downside.
No downside.
No downside. It's all roses. You're just gonna work out.
I mean,
totally work out. It's totally fine.
Throwing darts. I mean, that works so.
I'm gonna start ripping cigs, dude. I'm just gonna start smoking cigs all the time.
Dude, everyone knows that if there's an easy, sick pun like that for your quarterback, he's gonna be great.
He's gotta be like Danny Dimes. Like that definitely. Fuck, you're right.
That's the joke I was making, buddy. Hold on, wait. Do you still have your Danny Dimes sticker behind you? Or did you get rid of it?
I got rid of it.
Okay, good. Good. You got to exercise the demons.
It was gone in the last place too, so it didn't work. But
yeah,
it's fine. He's the Colts' problem now.
Now you got to get a dartboard.
Oh, I do need a dartboard.
Dude, a dartboard, and every week, the opponent that you're playing, you just print out a picture. You put that on the dartboard.
I like that.
Not players, though. It's got to be the team logo, because if you accidentally print off a defensive player, it's like throwing interceptions. You don't want to do that.
Fuck, you're right.
So just the logo. Throwing darts at the logo. Or you put one of your wide receivers on there. No, that could be voodoo.
It seems bad. It seems bad.
Opposing logo.
Opposing logo works. That's safe. That's safe. But yeah, I don't know. I really didn't know too much about him going in. I was like, that's not the guy I really want. Cam Ward was already gone. But they did say Brian Dable had been zeroing in on him since January. And there was another guy that people were like, he's not an NFL quarterback. He had bad film. He didn't play on a team that was really all that good. He's not that great. Though. And then Josh Allen got drafted to the Bills because Brian Dable wanted him. And then Josh Allen's just won the MVP. So really, Josh Allen or Jackson Dart could be the future MVP of the NFL.
I mean, there was another guy like that too, where they're like, you know, that he didn't have a lot of production and his team wasn't that great, but you know what? He's got the measurables, and that was Danny Dimes. So.
That was Pat Shurmur.
Ah, yes.
That was Pat Shurmur, who was the offensive coordinator for Shedeur Sanders, who we were like, no, fuck that guy. He fucked our franchise. No. We're not going Shedeur. And that was probably why they didn't take Shedeur.
Oh, excuse me.
And we got Abdul Carter, who's going to, we might have the best defensive line in the league. We're going to murder quarterbacks.
Dude, this is why the draft is great. You
just spin zone everything and it's going to be positive. There's no downside.
I'm just jacked up because the Packers never make a sexy pick in the first round. Or I can't say never. They did Jair Alexander a few years ago. They'll go. But normally it's offensive lineman, defensive lineman. And it's usually not even a guy that's going to start in year one. It's like, no, we're drafting you for depth. That's all the Packers do. First time in, was it 23 years, they said? 32 years? Packers drafted a wide receiver in the first round.
How pissed do you think Aaron Rodgers was?
Oh, he had to be livid.
Fuck! When I leave?
Like every fucking year, this is the only thing I ask for from you guys. That's it. Just draft me another stud guy. And they're like, nah.
Not now. I thought the coolest.
To be fair, we did get him Devontae in the second and Jordy Nelson in the second over the years. So, but pretty good.
It's true. I thought the best Packers pick, or the coolest one, was the guy that had waited 3 days to get drafted and was still in the green room, which bad move on his part to go to the draft. Like, if you think you could be a third day pick, why did you go?
He probably didn't think he would be. 2, he was like, fuck it, free snacks.
Yeah, but by day 2, you're like, fuck.
It's like day 1, full layout. Day 2, they've got an okay spread. Day 3, it's
There
just
was-
like it's
You had
deli
to DoorDash.
sandwiches.
You had to DoorDash.
I was gonna say it was just Kroger deli sandwiches where it's like 20 all in one, and they're kind of soggy.
Because they've been out like since first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And they were the leftover ones from the night before. That was just like, I don't know. That was what they had.
Yeah, I mean, most of our names, I didn't really know anyone, but I did the thing where I went back the last couple of years and started like, okay, well, let me grade our previous couple drafts. We do pretty well in the first 3 rounds. After that, there's not a lot of hits from 4 through 7, but we got a couple guys still on the team. That's why it's part of being a good organization. You get to go, dude, I just trust the process.
Yeah, it's trust the process. That's what I'm gonna start doing after this draft.
Also, we got Golden, so that's a sexy pick because we're tired of our other speed receiver going out every 2 weeks with a hamstring.
That's true. That'll be helpful. But yeah, the draft. Shout out to the Texans also for trading with the Giants and not making us give up a first round pick. That was cool. Cool move.
And shout out for getting both of the wide receivers from Iowa State. That's awesome. I love that game plan.
Yeah, like, oh, they're tight. And also we have had some issues with the wide receiver position being injured. What if we got 11 wide receivers?
Because all of the guys, whoever's healthy, you get to play. Stroud's going to get you the ball.
Yeah, get open.
All you got to do, you don't even have to get that open. Just catch it when it comes to you.
That's fair. And then they got some offensive line protection for CJ, so that was good. Shout out to the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, draft grades are back. And Mel Kiper, man, fucking meltdown. The Shador thing was really weird, but then when all that stuff came out, it's like, maybe it's not that weird.
They've been misdiagnosing quarterbacks for 50 years in the NFL. They don't know what they're doing. Mel, you said if Jimmy Clausen wasn't a star, you'd retire and then refused to do so when he sucked.
You also didn't have Patrick Mahomes as your number one receiver or number one quarterback.
Had him as the 5th quarterback in that draft class.
Huh.
Had Achilles Smith super high on his draft. I think he had him as his number 2 wide receiver that year. How'd that go?
Yeah, not great. The draft grades officially back. And then our last comeback kid this week is horses because the fucking Derby is this week.
Ready to crush some juleps, my friend?
What?
I said, you ready to crush some mint juleps, my friend?
Yeah, me and Pat are going to do our annual tradition that we started last year. So now it's annual. We're just going to get wasted on mint juleps.
Bet on a bunch of horses.
The mint juleps aren't that good, but we just kept drinking them. And after you drink a lot of them, then they're
I beg to differ, sir.
The first couple aren't great, but because it's like one of those where like if like having a it's like having a margaritas are good all the time. But it's like if you didn't like margaritas and you're at a Mexican restaurant, it's like this works. I'm here. Let's do this. Having a pina colada on the beach. It's kind of like that. You might not like pina coladas, which I think are fucking rocking everywhere, but like
who doesn't like pina coladas?
I don't know. Weird people. People hate
I don't like coconut. Shut up. You don't like the texture. There's no texture to this.
It's like a milkshake, but just the best shit ever. Just drink it.
Pineapple and rum and sweetness. It's
just go.
Can't trust someone that doesn't like a pina colada.
Yeah. But mint juleps, we're gonna crush some mint juleps on Saturday. And at Gravy Gambles, if you want to follow us on X, we'll be tweeting out our bets all day long. We're probably gonna lose a lot because I like to say
I think we did okay last year.
We lost money.
A little bit, not much.
Not a ton of money. But also you could throw like a $2 ticket or a $6 ticket or a $10 ticket max, and like we do a couple of those. It's not like we're throwing hundreds of dollars, but that's fun. And then what the real story is like Toby Keith is also back with horses because even though RIP, our sweet prince Toby Keith passed away last year, his lifelong dream was to have a horse in the Kentucky Derby, and he owns Render Judgment, which is competing in the Kentucky Derby. The actual Derby, not just the races before it. Render Judgment. But like, does that not seem like a Toby Keith song name? Render Judgment.
Oh, 100%.
Look, terrorists, when you're trying to fuck with America, you better render that judgment. Also a jazz song.
We'll send you to God and he will render his judgment.
Absolutely, yeah. But also jazz song.
It.
Perfect jazz name.
I'm trying to look it up right now. I think when I checked before, he had the longest odds.
Which means we're going to well, he's one of the longest ones.
Oh, that's Kentucky Oaks. I hit the wrong one. I was like, oh shit, did he withdraw?
So coolest name is American Promise. That would also be a Toby Keith horse too, probably.
He's no longer the longest odds, which means people have just been betting him because it's Toby Keith's horse.
Just like me. Admire Daytona. See, the horse names are Citizen Bull, No Equos, Final Gambit Rodriguez, American Promise, Admire Daytona, Luxor Cafe. Journalism is the favorite at 3-1. Burnham Square.
Of course, journalism puts itself first.
Is it a big J?
Tell you what,
Find out.
I don't trust that horse.
Ooh, Flying Mohawk's cool.
Tis-tastic.
Grande.
I mean, dude, what a pole battle.
Yeah.
That's a horse I can get behind.
Yeah.
Pole battle plus 2,200.
30-1 odds is what I see. Sandman. I think I might go Sandman just for Mariano Rivera.
Also, dude, Rodriguez. That's a great name for a horse. Who's that? That's Rodriguez. No, the horse. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about.
The horse's name. Oh, the jockey? No.
I would love to have a Kentucky Derby horse. And I would name it like Bill. Everyone in the world would be mad. Be like, no, horses, you got to give weird names. No, that's what I'm doing. You guys give them my name's weird to horses. It's just Bill.
My horse's name is Brandon.
Hank.
I've always wanted to name a racehorse Land Muffin because it's the exact opposite of Seabiscuit.
No, but then your horse would suck.
But then I also thought it would be cool to name one Portugal the horse instead of Portugal the man.
It'd be really funny if you just named it like Seabiscuit 2.
Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, just like Secretariat 2.
Seabiscuit +1.
Los Secretariato. Are you just trying to make it Spanish? That doesn't make it bad. Like, I don't think you can do that.
Just name my horse the winner.
But like, do you have like times of the year? Like, I know Christmas is kind of that way with a lot of people, but like in like Halloween, people watch Halloween Town, they watch spooky movies and stuff. Like Derby time, I like Olympics. I always try and watch Olympic related movies. Like I'm gonna watch Secretariat and Seabiscuit this week, and then I saw on Netflix. Bleep that out, Robert. No free ads. I saw on that streaming service that there's like a full swing, but with horse jockeys. It's about like getting into the Derby and stuff like that. And it looks awesome.
That son of a bitch rode his horse too close to me.
Yeah, my wife was like, they speak, like the jockeys speak English. And I was like, well, some of them do. Yeah.
I think it's a lot of Italians.
And like Central Americans too.
You should watch Hidalgo also.
And Black Beauty. That was it.
Well, Hidalgo, they're like racing across the desert. Which that'd be really cool if there was one horse racing where they just did it on like dirt.
It's called Race for the Crown is the name of it.
The desert one?
No, the horse one on Netflix, the horse show.
Oh.
I haven't started. I was trying to get my wife to watch it with me. She's like, I have no interest in that whatsoever. And I was like, all right. We will watch Righteous Gemstones, which is also a great choice. But Race for the Crown.
One of these horses' names is my favorite. I love them all.
I mean, I think I have to go Tobes. I have to go Tobes guy. But Sandman, I'm going to bet for Mariano Rivera and because he's like the third best odds. So it's like the favorite wins like a tenth of the time in horse racing. So remember that when you're placing your wagers. Kentucky Derby tends to like win more than not. Flying Mohawk fucking rocks.
I got to study the book.
Yeah, we'll look at it. We'll get the daily racing form and make some picks. But at Gravy Gambles, if you want to give us a follow, I'm at Alex J. Middleton, Pets at Not Pat D on X. And if you follow us Saturday, you can keep up with all of our bets. And I don't want to say we're going to live stream anything, but we might go live for a little bit. We can go live. Let's go live for the Derby.
All right.
Like, when the Derby starts,
maybe also
just us.
I was going to say maybe also the Oaks. You know, you got to build up to it.
Is it the Oaks Friday?
Oh, I thought the Oaks was just the one right before
it. Friday.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, not doing that.
Do Oaks and Cokes.
We'll figure it out. Oaks and Cokes, is that what you said?
Jack and Cokes, and watch the Kentucky Oaks. I didn't code that. Somebody else did that. And then there's like another, like there was like an oak themed liquor that went with that too. And I was like, that fucking rocks. I think Render Judgment's mine, but then Sandman would be my pick. We'll give you our picks though for sure on Saturday. And then yeah, going live for the Derby. That'll be tight. That'll be fun. All right. But yeah, that's comeback kid of the week. Before we move on to the not cool segment, we're gonna recap last week's mock draft of jersey numbers, and we were right back where we were last week. We thought it was gonna go down to the wire, and it's gonna come down to you and me having to grab a cop's gun or raise chickens.
Damn it! Every time I think I'm not going to be in these situations, and then every time I'm.
Yeah. Yeah, you just keep finding yourself back in them. So last week's mock draft of jersey numbers, Robert won again. He had 48% of the vote. I had 33% of the vote, got second place, and Pat was last with 19% of the vote. On the season, Robert's already wrapped it up. He did last week, but he's got 5 wins on the season total. I have 3, and Pat has 2. So we're gonna have Robert back in because I felt like maybe we do. I was gonna suggest horse names, like Kentucky Derby horse names. Would be fun to do, just a 4 draft of like that. But I also feel like we have to do it consistent with Robert also being somebody like Robert's gonna try and win, but like somebody has to, like, I don't know, if Robert wins again, Robert just has 6, and then you are the one that has to do that. You're really like, you have to win. It's kind of where it is. If I can get second or just make sure you don't win, that's really the other one. Like I could save myself, but like it's got to be even all 12 of the mock drafts that we do. So we're gonna wait for Robert to come back next week. It'll be our final mock draft, and then we'll figure out what to do if we tie. But yeah, mock draft season is back next week. Even though the draft is over, it was supposed to end this or last week. So now
hey, there was a material change.
It's fine. It's fine. Things happened. All right, let's move on to the not cool segment. We like to vent on this podcast, in case you didn't already know. And if you would like to vent with us, hit us up on X. We're at PassGradePod. Use the hashtag PTG not cool and just go off. So it's 3-4 sentences max of like what your not cool is. Try and sum it up where we can you just read it to anybody that would understand, and don't get too specific with it. Just be vague, but like not vague. You know, like I want to be able to be like, oh, I lit my foot on fire. Not I lit my cousin Steve lit my Nike whatever's on fire. Like just be simple with it so it's easy to just rip and read, basically. Is what we say in the biz. But send us your not cools. The best or the only way to send them to us is on X at PassGradePod. Use the hashtag PTG not cool. That's how we'll find them. Don't forget though, if you're not watching us on YouTube, every episode of Pass Gravy is on YouTube, and you can watch us live. The episode comes out on the audio form the night before, but then about 10 a.m. Thursdays each week, or 10 a.m. the day after the audio comes out, you're gonna have Robert's gonna edit up and put out the audio version for you to watch that. So if you're watching us, give us some jazz song names that you like. Come up with a jazz song name, comment below, and maybe we'll give somebody a free shirt or something like that. I don't know. But go comment below, spam the comments, help us out. And we're at Pass Grade Podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/@PassGradePodcast, or just search Pass Grade Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, and make sure you share us with a friend. This is the Not Cool segment.
Not cool, man. Dude, that's not cool.
Not cool. Not cool.
Dude, that's not cool. Not cool, man. Dude, that's not cool.
Not cool. Not cool.
Dude, that's not cool. That's not cool. That's not cool.
Our first listener submitted Not Cool this week is from Jordan Welch at J_Welch2795. And Jordan says his Not Cool is people who call into work or don't call, or people who call into work or no show, no, what the fuck did he write?
People who call into work or don't / no call, no show.
Oh, okay. Or don't no call. That's what threw me off. Okay, yeah, no call, no show. Just
people that don't show. Yeah, it's fucking. I hate that shit so much.
Yeah, you work at a restaurant, so I would imagine that probably happens.
You're just short. It's not like, oh, Gary didn't show up to the office today. When we have someone else
Yeah.
show up, it's like, oh, hey, everyone's going to get worse service today because we don't have enough.
Now you're running 12 tables instead of just 6 or whatever.
That's fantastic. The one I hate too is when people like 10 minutes before they're supposed to be there, they're like, hey, do you need me today? Like, yeah, that's why I haven't contacted you to.
I would have told you I didn't before 10
Oh,
minutes before your
okay.
shift.
I'm gonna be like 30 minutes late then. Like, okay, I'm gonna write you up when you get here. Stop being a dickhead. The ones that it's like when it's a 19-year-old who's working, you're like fucking what, like it sucks. It's expected. It's really annoying when it's someone who's like 40.
And I always hated I feel like everybody's had somebody like this in their work lives at some point in their life where it's just they're in some sort of crisis at all times. Like, oh my God, this happened, and you won't believe what.
Oh my
like,
God.
oh, and then so and so I got robbed, and you're like, you can only come up with so many stories before I stop believing you. You were 45 minutes late to work because you got robbed again. You used that one last week. You've had 5 grandmothers die. How many grandmothers do you have?
I didn't have air in my tire when I got out to my car, and then it made me run like really because I have you on Instagram and it shows you were just getting hammered last night till 4 a.m.
Yeah, where it's always, but if somebody's always like you making like just insane like excuses like that, like just be like hey man, I was late. My bad. Like you get a couple of those before I'm like, I don't trust what you're saying.
Or hey, I'm almost there. Okay, then it took you 15 more minutes to get here. Like this isn't like going out to plans with your friends. Like I'm in the car already, and you're still like doing your makeup in the mirror. That's what it's fucking work. Just be on time. That's all you have to do.
When I used to be part-time at the radio station, I would work weekends and we would always deal with like, all right, so you get like if you were doing the news station, there was the 4 a.m. to noon shift, the noon to 8 p.m. shift, and the 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. shift. So because KTRH had to be manned all the time because they have the EAS machine in case there's like an emergency or anything like that. And there would always be like if you got on the noon to 8 shift, there was always this overnight girl that would come in and she would always be late. Like every single time she was late. And she'd be like, oh yeah, I'm just running a little bit behind. And sometimes she would call up, sometimes she wouldn't. But then she would always come in with like a Starbucks or some sort of like fast food that she picked up. I'm like, you were late because you were picking up food.
I can't tell you how many times I've fucking yelled at people for that.
If you're late because of traffic, it's different. If you're late because you didn't plan ahead and then went to Jack in the Box and then we're late because you could have been on time and then you got Jack in the Box and you're 15, 20 minutes late because of Jack in the Box, then no, that's not the same thing. Just don't be fucking dumb and bring it in. Go to your car and wait until there's a break or sometime where you can go fucking get it when I'm not there. If you let me fucking see it, I'm gonna fucking call you out. I'm like, would you got Whataburger today?
Yeah, dude.
Whataburger on the way? I thought you were running late. I just hadn't eaten anything. We got vending machines here. That's crazy.
The most common one is you walk in at like 10:13 and they've got food. I'm like, you've got food and you're fucking late. They're like, I'm 3 minutes late. Like, first of all, no fucking attitude on this. You're late.
Yeah, you're in the wrong.
Second of all, you're not 3 minutes late. You're fucking 13 minutes late. You're supposed to be here at 10. We give you till 10:10. The phone was one time it was someone who was really pissing me off. And technically we're not supposed to have any outside food or drink in the back, but like, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We definitely don't allow that at all.
Don't allow it. That's not acceptable.
But like we had just told them that week, like, hey, stop doing it. The owner's pissed about it, blah, blah, blah. They showed up with food and I go, cool, go put it back in your car. You can't eat it here and you're already late, so you don't have time to eat it right now. Go put it back in your car. And made them spoil their food that they bought. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You're not going to put it in the walk-in because one, you can't have outside food in there, and two, you're just going to sneak back and fucking eat it.
And if you're running late, then like, what are you going to do? Then you're here and you got to eat first before you can start working. So then you're even later. But yeah, that's a solid, not cool. No calls, no shows, and people just continuously not showing up to work. Jordan, good one.
Don't be shitty at your job.
Just do what you're supposed to do. That's why, nobody wants. Like, if you don't want to go to work, that's why they pay you, man. Just remember that. Our next not cool is from Alex O at Alex McThunder1. He says having to train the new guy at work. Another work related one.
Yeah, training sucks.
Yeah, hey, look, we're supposed to do this. We don't ever do this, but we're supposed to do this. The boss asks just so you know how to do that. It's like a lot of that. And then when you are the person that's getting trained, you're just like, I don't know if any of this stuff is gonna work.
And also, it's one of those things where then they come to you after, like, are they ready? Like, I don't fucking know. I taught them the shit. I don't know if they remember it. Or if they're just saying, hey, I need you to train the new guy. And you're like, cool, am I getting paid more? No. Well, fuck you. I don't, is he ready? I don't know.
I'm not gonna quiz him.
I didn't try hard training him because you're not paying me to fucking do it.
And you
Fuck
let
you.
a new guy or girl do something, and if they botch it, like, why did this happen? Because we let the new guy. We're training.
Or if you're like, yeah, no, I tried training them. They suck. This is not going to work. And then management's like, well, we'll just give them some more training and give them time. Be like, you just don't want to have to look for somebody else, but this person sucks. You're going to hire this person. We're going to have them for 3 months. They're going to be fucking awful. And we're going to be back in this position because you didn't want to try and find another applicant in the first place.
I thought that about Chris Hogan, former co-host of the pod. I remember telling my boss, I was like, yeah, I just don't think this is the guy, dude. And it was just like, I know you're not going to hire anybody else. But he's like, what is he? There was usually like a 2 week like window of like how you figured out how to run a board and everything. And he was just so bad at it. And then it was like, it took him about like 3, 4 weeks and he figured it out and clicked. It was awesome at it. But it was just like, I was like, I would not have thought that was going to work out.
So it's funny. The only time I ever actually have to train anyone at the restaurant is like just when we're getting a new expo guy who is just the person that the kitchen puts the food up, they make sure it's right, and then send it out to the table. But there's really no way to train for that other than just like, dude, you got to stand next to me until you learn what all the dishes are. That's all it is. Like, oh, you've done this at another restaurant? Cool. Time to just start memorizing our dishes.
Just look at this thing.
So like I feel like a piece of shit. I'm like, this is the Houston salad. Like, I'm not gonna. There's nothing else to fucking train them.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to talk to the person like you think they're an idiot, but like you're supposed to kind of talk to them like, hey, do you understand that? Just ask me any questions. Any
They'll always be
questions?
like, how do you think? And I'm like, well, I don't know, dude. He speaks Spanish and then he speaks good enough English. That's the main thing. He just has to be able to communicate with front and back of house.
It's fine. It's gonna work. Yeah, that does suck, Alex. So that does suck. Our next
It's just never fun.
yeah. You're like, it's just like an extra add-on to your day. We're like, oh, cool. Now I gotta train somebody, even if they're cool. Our next not cool is from Mikey Paul at It's Just Mikey P. I hung out with him on Saturday at the crawfish cook-off when I was hosting with my buddy Chili at Cactus Cove. But Mikey P says his not cool is changing the toilet paper roll and dropping the new roll into the toilet. I've done that. You just gotta toss the whole thing. You just gotta hopefully it wasn't before you flushed. Those are the worst.
No, hopefully it wasn't. But okay, yeah. Sorry.
Hopefully, yeah. If it was before you flushed, then there would just be it's in there with shit.
Yeah, if you haven't flushed, then it's just like, okay, yeah, that's you throw it away. If it's like you just happen to be changing it and the water's clean, then you go, well, fuck, I still have to rip half of this roll off because half of it is already soaked into it. And you're like, well, I just wasted half a fucking roll. That's if you don't feel like being lazy and just throwing the whole thing away at that point also.
But that does suck.
It's such a bad feeling. You're like, dude,
it's happened to everybody, but when it happens to you, like, fuck.
I'm not just leaving it for the next guy who is also me. I'm going to be proactive and actually have it out and ready. No, fucked up. Day's ruined.
Yeah, T's and P's, brother. T's and P's. Last listener or viewer submitted one is from Abby Gibbons at Abby Gibbons 17. She was also out at the crawfish cook-off. Hung out with her. And Abby says, when the city shuts down your water for maintenance and doesn't let you know.
Insurrection should be legal at that point.
Just look when your water's out, and like my old place, this used to always happen. I feel like in apartments and just like communal places that you live at. Like I don't know if she lives in a house or an apartment, but like when your water's out, you're like, what the fuck? And like in my apartments, they would send emails, but then I had the altercations with my apartment, so they only sent the emails to my wife, who didn't always check. And so I'd go home to I'd work out, and I'm like, I'm gonna go take a shower. And you turn the water on, and nothing comes out. And you're like, fuck. Now what do I do? You just sit there.
You get to be all stinky.
You also forget how much we use water and how sick plumbing is. Indoor plumbing rocks.
Oh, dude, when water's out, there's no worse feeling than suddenly being like, I had to shit.
Yeah.
Because you got one flush in there. If you've got backup water, you can refill the bowl. But if you come home and you didn't know it was going to be out, you're like, you have to do that panic thing where you're like, can I make it to the gas station?
Yeah.
Can I make it to the Walgreens down the street?
It's not fun, but yeah, T's and P's, Abby. T's and P's.
It's awful.
Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Just a quick one. It's just as the weather starts to turn and get warm, and then the first electric bill after that happens, you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, these last months have been real cheap.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't outlandish, but it was just like, yep, forgot that's what it's supposed to look like.
I feel like a
Shit.
dickhead because our place was all bills paid besides like internet and cable. And so I'm like, does that just mean we can crank it down to like 65 all winter or all summer long? And I was like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But
I had to have that moment where I was like, oh yeah, I have been running my box fan
nonstop.
at my legs nonstop for a week straight.
But there is always a change, and it's like in the winter when it gets hot or gets cold, and you're like, oh fuck, the heater's on. Because then you always try and play that. I know you play that game where it's like, how long can we go without hitting that heat? I can wear hoodies. I can make
Dude,
this work.
if I didn't live with anybody else, unless it got to like shutting down electric
freezing,
freeze,
yeah.
that level, even if it's below freezing, I will not turn it on. I will blanket up for the night.
Yeah, I can put a parka on. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, dude, multiple comforters. That's what they're for. My nose is cold. You know what it's better than? Trying to sleep when it's hot.
Yep.
Just then you get other people in your house and they're like, I'm cold. And you're like, I will turn this on.
Oh, we have a baby and the baby can't be cold. I'm like, all right, fine.
There's children in here. I don't care.
My not cool is I've been going for runs late. I've been trying to, get back in shape, work out again. I always go like where I won't work out for a long time, and then I'll see myself in the mirror. I'm like, you fucking fat piece of shit. Like, I'm getting there. And then I just shame myself into working out again. And so I started running and doing some HIIT workouts and shit like that. But I run around this track, the same track I take my dog out to when I'm listening to my jazz. And I have to have two keys to like leave my house to go run there because I have to have my house key and then I have to have the gate key that gets me to the park. And I did not have shorts that had pockets in them. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. I just tucked it behind the little part or the like snap part of my hat that I was wearing. And I was like, this will be fine. Like, this isn't going to fall out. Guess what? It did fall out. It did fall out. My house key fell out. And because if it was just the gate key, I could be like, hey, I need another gate key. And I could just pay $15 for that and find it. But it was the house key that fell out. And it fell out and I hit the track and then bounced into the grass that needed to be mowed. And so I noticed that when I got back to my house and reached back or when I was opening the gate and realized I only had one key there, I was like, uh-oh. So I had to retrace my steps. I was like, luckily I only ran around this track, but I went around it fucking 3 more times. It took 20 minutes to fucking scour every fucking area around it. It had fallen into the grass, but that was on me. That was on me for thinking that I found like a quick solution. And just like, why do they have jogging shorts that don't have fucking pockets? It's absurd.
That's what I was gonna say. There's two things. One, I got to introduce you to these shorts that I wear. That they're perfect for that. Obviously, I've never used them for this, but they have that built-in underlayer, which also has like a pocket built into that. I hate that every time I fucking hit my table, it like bounces my camera.
It does.
It's driving me insane. But like, it's got that built-in pocket right there, and then the shorts go back, so it's impossible for shit to fall out of there. Introduce you to that. And damn it, now I forgot what my second point was. Oh, two. This was the other one.
There you go.
You love spending money on dumb shit. As long as I'm
not doing that. I'm working
I know
on
you're not because
doing
you have a child now. But this should teach you a lesson. You need to buy a metal detector. How much
I
fun would that
didn't
have been
need
to
that
hit back out
time.
there?
I
You said you
found
didn't
it
find the
without
key.
one.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't find it.
No, I found it after like 3 times around the track. I was able to find it.
Yeah, but how much more fun would it have been with a metal detector?
I wouldn't have been
Would've
able to
only
get
taken
in
one
my
time.
house. I wouldn't have been able to get in the house to get the metal detector.
Fuck, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know you're like no more than 15 years away from being a metal detector guy
I
anyway.
don't know.
Like
I mean,
you're
I get the
no,
appeal.
you're 100% gonna be the dad at the beach. You, Emma, and Elle, and your other 5 children at that point.
Nope.
Elle is gonna be
Just the
13, and
two.
you're gonna go to the
Just the
beach,
two.
and you're gonna bring the metal detector just to embarrass her.
Not gonna do that.
Because that's a fun. No, see, yes, you will. Are you?
I'm
Are
gonna
you
put
saying,
little
are you
pieces of
saying you won't?
metal to hide
you-
in the sand for other people to find just like nothing.
I was gonna say you're not gonna bring the metal detector, or you're not gonna embarrass Elle.
Both.
Bullshit. No, dude, that's half the fun of being a parent is purposely embarrassing your children as they go through puberty. Like, you're being a real dick at home lately, so I'm gonna make this fun for
No,
me.
she's just gonna be like, I have a cool dad. I'm like, yeah, you do. Your dad's cool as fuck.
Either that, you either have metal detector dad, or gets into biking and buys all the attire dad.
I'm not gonna be that guy either.
Because my uncle did that, but he would actually show up to my cousin's school, both of them, girls, and he would just show up like around the time they're getting out of school, acting like he was going to pick them up, wearing his skin tight biking uniform, but he's on a bike. So he'd be like, hey, I just wanted to see you girls before I saw you at home, just to embarrass them in front of their friends. He's a fucking legend. I love Uncle
Pretty
Matt.
funny. That is pretty funny.
But don't
Pretty-
you need to start thinking of things now. You got to embarrass your daughter on purpose. It's
But
great.
you would have thought that like just tucking the keys in the back of the hat would have worked.
I would not have
Apparently
thought
not.
that. Never in a million years would I have thought
I thought it would have.
that putting keys tucked into a hat and then going to bounce up and down for over a mile, I would never think that would stay put.
I mean, well, because like the other option was to put it in my shoe, but then you're running on your key the whole time. That's not tight.
I mean, could have just worn something with pockets, better pockets.
That was dirty.
You were going to run in them anyway.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, I can't wear these shorts. They're dirty. I'm going to sweat in them.
That's how you get
Yeah.
staff, Pat.
Don't wear them 30 times in a row, but if you wore the short, I bet they weren't even dirty. I bet they had just been worn. And there's a fucking
No,
difference
they were
between
willing
that.
to run earlier that week.
Okay,
They
one
had
more
sweat
ain't
all
gonna kill
over
you.
them.
Well, guess what? It cost you an extra 20 minutes
It did.
searching for a key.
It did. And I'll never get that 20 minutes back. But that's my not cool for the week. Again, at Pass the Great Pod, hashtag PTG not cool. If you would like to submit yours going forward, let's wrap this bad boy up. Robert's going to hate it if we get out early. Robert's going to hate it if we get out early. I actually did throw in
one word answers to all these. Let's get out of here in under a minute, an hour 30.
I actually threw in 6 questions this week because there were 2 that were similar and they made me laugh. So I put those both in.
Ooh.
But if you got any, we do the Precome segment at the beginning of the podcast where we ask any dumb questions. Not that there are dumb questions, but we ask any questions we have. We pitch business ideas. If you would like to get us to buy into your product, hit us up. Give us your idea, and we'll let you know if we're yay or nay on it. If you want us to help you with relationship advice, we're obviously great at that. Parenting advice, I'm clearly the best parent ever at giving advice. And if you want just, a drunk thought, any high thought like that you got, or you want us to power rank things, you want us to tell you what a color smells like or what color a certain number is, we can do that too. We're also the best at power ranking things. So give us 5 similarly related things and we will power rank the fuck out of them better than anybody else. Hit us up at Pass the Great Pod on X. Use the hashtag PTG Answers. That's how we'll search for them, at Pass the Great Pod, hashtag PTG Answers. If you don't have X, email them to us, passthegravypod@gmail.com, and put answers in the subject. That's how we'll find them. This is the answers segment.
Well, if you just answered the question, why don't you just answer the question? Be honest, no big deal. Yeah, answer the question.
Don't change the subject, just answer the fucking question.
Any questions?
Our first question this week comes from Ashley Wilkins at Buster Healer Mix, another gravy ganger that was out at the Cactus Cove Crawfish Cook-Off. Ashley says, how many mounted dead animals / hunting trophies can someone have in a room before it's creepy?
I think that depends entirely on the lighting of the room.
The lighting?
The lighting, yes. Because if it's a dark room and there's lots of them, creepy. If it's like, if the room has tall windows and there's a lot of natural light in there, I feel like that's just a hunting enthusiast. Dark room with lots of trophies. First of all, that's the thing. If you have the money to go trophy hunting that often and the money to mount them and everything, you probably have like a nice cabin that you do your hunting at. You've got the room naturally, and that's how you display it. If it was just like me, who like all of my money just went to doing it, and then I just had them mounted like in this room, that'd be weird.
That'd be weird. Yeah, I was thinking like if you have a dedicated trophy room, then I don't think it's weird. You're just like, this guy likes to hunt. But if you don't have it as like a dedicated trophy room and like you're just putting every deer you ever killed up there, like after about 5, I think it's weird.
See, I don't think it will be creepy because anyone that has that does it well. Now, if it's just like a bunch of squirrels that you self-taxidermied the heads on in your room,
you're right.
Like, all right, this is a small critter killer. He's a serial killer. Anything that's got like bucks and elks.
If you have like multiple rodents in
like
your
a big wolf.
Like, yeah, if you have multiple rodents like mounted and shit, that's creepy.
I don't know. I think hunting trophy. I'm not a hunter. I think hunting trophies are pretty fucking cool.
My uncle
it's not
has
like
a
you
ranch
took it down with your hands, but
my uncle has a ranch with one, and he has like all kinds of like gazelles and elks and fucking all kinds of like exotic shit that he's shot in Africa and stuff like that. That like it looks cool, but
he wouldn't shoot no lions, right? He's not a dentist, is he?
He's not a dentist. No.
Okay.
No
Fuck
lions.
that guy.
No lions, but he's got like ibises and all kinds of stuff. You're like, what is that animal? And he'll explain them to you. You're like, all right, I heard that on Big Buck Game.
That's cool, especially because those kind of guys are usually like when people PETA, they get mad at it and they're like, oh, it's bad. Hunters are usually the biggest into conservationism of anybody.
They really are, yeah.
And they really respect the animals that they're doing. Like anybody that takes the time to do all that and mount it and everything, they understand what they're doing.
Right.
Probably doing it with respect.
And I think Ashley attached the picture of Quinn Ewers from Texas, the Texas quarterback that got drafted.
That room was awesome.
That was a trophy room, so I think that wasn't creepy.
Yeah, not creepy at all.
Not creepy.
You just gotta. That's just guys being dudes.
But I think if you just have like 5 like random ones that are like rodents and stuff, like that's weird.
Especially if you self-taxidermy them.
Self-taxidermy is weird. Mm-hmm. And if you don't also have a taxidermy business to go along with it.
Yes. I get, yeah. Obviously, if you own if you are the taxidermist, I think you're allowed to self-taxidermy then. You don't have to outsource it just not to be a creep.
All right. Our next question is from Josh Tree Cottle at Joshua Tree 713, and he says, "Is the saying "birds of a feather flock together" meaning that they are racist? I've never seen other birds hang out. Like you never see a blue jay hang out with a cardinal, but that's gang shit. Are birds racist, Pat? Are birds racist?
First of all, they're government drones.
They're not real.
No, I've seen pictures of like blue jays and cardinals. I think it just means they tend to flock together. I don't think it's necessarily racist. You know, you just you tend to gravitate towards people that look like you or birds that look like you. But I've also seen many crows hanging out next to pigeons. I've seen blue jays and like blackbirds next to each other.
I have not.
Cardinals and sparrows. It's just you tend to see them in groups with each other.
So birds are not racist.
Not racist. They just representation matters.
There you go.
Birds haven't invented a DEI, so they're not being forced. But they do it on their own. Sometimes. I've seen a parrot and a parakeet in the same cage.
That's true. I had a cockatiel and a parakeet in the same cage when I was a kid.
Angry birds. All different birds. All hanging out together.
Great point. All right. Birds, not racist.
Nope.
Confirmed. All right. Well, on the subject of racism, Luke Soin wrote in and said, "Is it racist if the Chinese restaurant doesn't bring me chopsticks? I'm a white guy.
Yes. No. It's not racist. It might be a little prejudiced.
Am I prejudiced?
Might be a little bit. That's why when they hand you the fork, you just go, ni hao. Like, oh, see, then they're in a blender. They're like, oh shit, does this guy know what he's talking about?
Or is he just fucking with me?
When they say something back, you don't respond like you're fighting. You just go, sorry, that's all I know.
I think that it is maybe not necessarily racist. It's not a good look.
But
Not a
also,
good
the
look.
Chinese people don't give shit. What are you gonna do? Call me racist? Sorry, dude. Most of your people can't. Here's a fork. Fucking Brandon.
Yeah, but I like eating with chopsticks.
Only sushi. Like if you just have like regular rice and you hand me chopsticks, I'd be like, come on, man. Actually, you know what? That's what it is. It's profiling. Is what it is.
It's profiling. It's not racism, but it's on the spectrum. Can we say
Also,
that?
Luke, can we be honest for a minute? Was it fair? Could you have used the chopsticks?
Follow up. Let us know.
Like sushi, I can do just Chinese food. I can't eat noodles with chopsticks. I'm not that skilled. I could if it was the only option.
I think I could.
I definitely could. You know what's faster and easier for everyone? If you give me a fork.
That's true. I
I'll
like
even take a spork.
when you go to Benihana and they're like cooking in front of you and they give you the fried rice after they do the heartbeat and all that stuff. And then they give you a little cup of it. If I have the chopsticks, I'll just eat the rice with that because then you're not full when the food's done.
See, that's the thing though. I don't think I could get it. It's gonna take me forever.
It just slows you down a little bit.
Which I don't want to have. I'm a fast eater. That's how I digest.
All right. I don't think it's racist. It's not a good look.
It's profiling.
I'll say that. It's profiling. So you were being profiled by the Chinese restaurant employees.
Exactly.
All right. And
you can say that's not right. Not necessarily wrong.
If you needed chopsticks, then yeah, it's wrong.
Sometimes profiling can be okay. Like, if you see me walk out of the bathroom, are you going to walk right in after me?
Probably not.
Probably going to give that one a minute. And you know what? That's probably a safe assumption.
There you go. All right. That works. Okay. Next one we got. So those are our questions concerning racism. So moving on.
I can give you some more.
Okay. What you got?
Oh, no. I thought you were going to decline.
No, I know. I was like, let's see where he goes with this.
Do all lives really matter? No.
Tonight on Gutfield.
Some lives matter more than others.
Kenya Valdez at Kenyatta Mandata on X gives us this week's power rankings, and she says, power rank these tacos. She gives us shrimp, chicken, steak, pastor, and birria.
I can't believe we're doing this without Robert.
Yeah, Robert's gonna be mad.
Was that racist?
No. Maybe. Prejudice. Prejudice.
Who's profiling?
Who's profiling? I'll go first.
All right.
So, pastor, I would say I have the least experience with. I've had tacos al pastor or whatever, so I'm gonna go pastor at 5. 4 is shrimp. I mean, there's no bad answer on these, right? Like,
I think pastor at 5 was a bad answer, but go on. They're all good. They're all good though. Yeah.
4 is shrimp. Shrimp can rock. I think shrimp tacos are baller, but just my 4th favorite of the ones that we were given. 3, chicken. There's a lot you can do with chicken, but you really want it to be steak when you're eating chicken tacos, aren't you?
Yes.
And then 2 is birria. Kobo's Q has absolutely wrecked me when it comes to like birria tacos. Like that's what I get every time I go there. I think about the queso birria, even though that's not birria tacos, but like it's birria tacos they've absolutely changed my life.
They
so
are.
I put birria at 2 right there because of that. And then 1 is steak because like it's steak. It's primo shit. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Steak, birria, chicken, shrimp, and pastor.
All right, here's the correct order. No offense to yours.
All right.
5 is shrimp. Delicious, far and away the whitest of the tacos, though. And if
Yeah.
we're talking tacos, you want to put a little distance between us pasties, okay? It's just fair. That's a California taco and it has avocado on it. Delicious, but no, it's place.
Right. Right.
4, I'm gonna go chicken. It's delicious, but we see what other options there. 3, I'm going steak. Steak tacos, absolutely delicious. But if I'm eating tacos, I don't want the word describing it to be in English.
Fair.
Yeah. So we're going
Fair.
pastor number 2. And this was really hard, but birria is just fucking king of everything.
Specifically, Kobo's Cube burrito
Yeah.
tacos.
Like, I was
Jesus.
very torn because I love El Pastor tacos. Fucking spicy green sauce on there, cilantro, some fucking fresh onion. But it's fucking hard to beat. Birria. Birria is what I like to call it.
Birria tacos, baby. I'll have a beer with that birria taco.
My pronunciation might not be the most flattering, but there is full respect in it, I tell you.
Exactly. I respect the game. Respect the game.
Great
All right.
power ranking.
Those are really good. Really good, Kenya.
I want some fucking tacos now.
Our next question comes from Chris G, who emailed in. Chris G says, is it okay to be stoned at a funeral?
Yes, you are grieving. Now, I will say, you don't want to be this guy. You don't want to be the guy that can't open his fucking eyes because you're so stoned. Being high, I think it's an appropriate response to be in grief. But if you're just stoned because you can't go anywhere without being stoned, and you just want to get a couple rips in before you walk in, kind of a piece of shit move.
Yeah, so like I was kind of going along the lines of that, where it's like you don't need to be stoned all the time, but I think you can be stoned at a funeral if you smoked with the person that is being buried.
Oh, fair.
If you got high with...
Which I definitely did at the last funeral I was at.
If you got high with the person whose funeral it is, then you can be high at the funeral. If not, I would advise against it. That's just a personal preference.
Yeah, like I'm not recommending it.
Right.
Saying it's not the worst thing in the world. Also, but
I don't really care. Yeah, I don't really care. But
a lot of it does
okay?
depend on the person.
In my brain, I'm like, did you get high with that person? Then yeah, it's fine.
Like if it was one of my boys, and I know he would be like, dude,
I get
get fucking get tanked at my shit, dude. Celebrate me the way we hung out. Cool. Maybe not around the family, be completely fucked up. Leave it a little bit more for the wake afterwards.
When I have my Viking funeral, I want everybody to be high as fuck. I want like you to light my body on fire in the boat, and then everybody just like light the joint on that fire.
I mean, I've heard that verbal contracts are binding in Texas, and I've said this enough to everyone I know.
Yeah.
I have 2 stipulations when I die. Cheapest possible burial, or disposure of body, I should say. I don't care if I'm buried. Throw me in the fucking field at Texas State and let the criminal justice people study the decay of my body. 2, Irish wake style. I want everyone fucking bombed. I want 10-year-old kids to get their first beer at my funeral.
All right.
Call it, when people, it's a celebration of life. That's what I want.
But like
in
you won't
5
care.
years, I want it.
But you like won't care if anybody's high at it.
I want people to look back at it and go, dude, it was a fucking sick party. Remember when Pat died?
Pat's funeral. Yeah.
Pat's
I want my
funeral was
funeral to be a
fucking
party.
lit, dude. What was it? Dude, he found a farmer that let him bury him in the corner of his fucking 30 acres, and we built a bonfire right there and drained 3 kegs.
And just got lit, dude. It was great.
I was standing on top of his grave for 20 minutes, didn't even realize it. It was awesome.
That's pretty tight. That's pretty tight. All right. Great question, Chris G. I don't know if you're new to the pod or not. All right. Last one this week. We might really piss Robert off by being early this week. This is from Todd Voss at as_seen_by_TV. And Todd says, if you were to turn down the AC, are you turning the temperature lower so it's colder, or are you turning the fan down so it's not as cold?
I almost said this was one of the dumbest questions I've ever heard, but I thought about it. It depends. If you're talking about your house, turning down the AC means you're making it colder.
Right.
If you're in the car and somebody says turn down the AC, that means turn the fan lower so it's not as cold. It is a very dude. But think about it. Never have you said turn up the AC in the car and meant I need it colder, or I need it hotter. It's a very I don't know if dichotomous is a word. It's a very dichotomous situation. It means completely different thing depending on
it.
Yeah. Whether you're in the house or the car, it does mean exact opposites. So Todd, I don't know if you're talking about the house, when you turn down the AC, you're dropping it to 65 because it's about to be night and you want it nice and cold.
I
You're
still
in the
think
car, you turn down the AC, you're turning down the fan to make it less cold.
I still think turn down. I'm thinking AC. Or house AC.
Yeah. But the car does have AC too. It's literally what turned down for what was written about. He's asking you whether you're talking about the house or the car.
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant, astute observation on this dichotomous situation, Pat. That sounded really smart, didn't it?
Yeah. And the shots were because it was obviously talking about a car and it was a drive-by.
Yeah.
Or it was a house party and they were doing shots. And which one? You don't know.
Nobody knows. Great questions, everybody.
Great question. I'm very happy that I thought about the car because I almost called Todd one of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life, but I didn't.
And I just made my mind up. It was just like, no, it's house AC is what it's talking about.
So yeah, turn down definitely means you're making it colder then if it's house AC.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, if you got questions again for answers, at PassGradyPod, use the hashtag PTG answers or email them to us, passthegradypod@gmail.com. Use the hashtag or you put answers in the subject. And that's how we'll find them. I am at Alex J. Milton. Pat's at not Pat Dion. Robert is at Robert Barbosa 03. We're going to be back to in-person podding next week. So hang out with us then. But please share us with a friend and make sure you like all the stuff we put out. Before we go, let's do the random celebrity generator. Pat, who you got?
I have John Stamos.
John Stamos. I'm going to go Matthew McConaughey.
I saw a video of John Stamos drumming this weekend, and he's legit.
He's pretty good. Pretty good.
Also, just, God, what a head of hair. That sexy Greek bastard.
But I pulled up, this doesn't count, but I pulled up Bo Jackson, Celine Dion, Olivia de Havilland, Ken Rosewall, Michelle Pfeiffer, Renee Lacoste, Reese Witherspoon, and Jerry Rice. Matthew McConaughey, John Stamos. Blur, Frances McDormand, Stevie Nicks, Rafael Nadal, Lou Gehrig, Lindsay Davenport, Kim Clijsters, and Metallica.
Damn.
All right, let's do one more. Just one more. This counts. Tim Robbins, Alexa Chung, Burt Lancaster, Tom Waits, Mel Giedroyc, Sigourney Weaver, Marilyn Monroe, and Steve McQueen. Not even close.
Son of a bitch.
Not even close. All right. At Alex J. Milton, at Pass Great Pod, at Not Pat Dion, at Robert Barbosa 03. Give us a follow, share all of our shit, like us on all socials, and have a great rest of your week. Go Toby Keith's horse, render judgment. Until we talk to you next time, pass the gravy. Yeah, bitches.
Gravy, gang, gang, gang. Baby, pop the top and let it spread. As we're listening to Pass the Gravy. We're going fishing for your bitch today. We're drunk in Houston, baby. And we go ahead and lick and